Well, hello, good sirs, and welcome to my first vlog. I apologise for the state of the place around me. I apologise for my clothing, as well as sound and all, and lighting quality as well. I'm actually in the process of putting together my editing studio for my freelance business, and so because of that, I have therefore got the walls are bare. I still have to decorate, and it's also why I'm dressed like this, because obviously as much as I like wearing blazers and shirts and things like that, it's not the most practical when I'm making, doing hardcore DIY. Lighting as well is makeshift at this point, because typically today both my bulbs burst and so I have to get new ones. And the sound quality, I haven't yet managed to get this room audio treated just yet, but that will all soon be coming, and hopefully you can take this journey with me and see this room come to life, because I would like to film some more gaming videos and other types of videos in here rather than in my living room, which is what you will have seen up until now. So today, because I have been working on this studio, I thought I'd do my first vlog to kind of get that rolling, because I said I wanted to do it and talk about work. Isn't that a fun subject? Work. I run my own freelance business, as I just mentioned, basically camera opping, editing services, as well as sort of things like social media and YouTube and video consultancy, things like that, which I thoroughly love doing. I went to Bournemouth University and studied television production for 3 years, which I thoroughly love doing. It's a great university and I really, really enjoyed it. However, I actually had a phone call a few days ago from them asking me what I thought of the course. And so, you kind of have your ups and downs, so you go through all of that with them, but eventually, it works out fine. And they say, well, what are you doing now? We need to check so that we can have our statistics and things. So what are you doing? I said, oh, well, I'm now self-employed. Okay. So, do you feel that university prepped you for self-employment? And my answer is just no. I love self-employment. They often preached about the fact that you will be a freelancer and that you will be self-employed when you go into the industry. And I was fine with that idea. But the problem is, they teach you a lot of technical skill. So how to hold a camera, how to properly shoot, how to do all the technical bits and bobs like that. But they never actually teach you how to do, how to run a business, how to set that up, how to do financing, what rates to set, anything like that, because it's all so vague that they don't feel they can actually input into that. But the problem is, then leaves us wondering, what the hell do we do next? So I've applied for numbers of jobs since I've been out of university, lots of things like full-time, part-time runner positions, which, if any of you know the film industry or TV industry, is the very bottom rank, which is what my so-called degree qualifies me for. However, I've got through the interviews and I've done things and I've applied for jobs and I haven't been taken forward. A lot of the time I haven't even been taken forward to an interview because I'm not qualified or haven't got the experience. Now, just bear in mind that I actually have, all my 3 years of being at university, I've actually got several jobs as a camera operator, paid work, as well as editing and all sorts of other jobs. There's lots of voluntary positions as well. So I'm not without experience. However, I'm not experienced as a runner, which means that they won't take me on as a runner, but they also don't think I've got enough work as a camera operator to take me on in that higher level position. So I'm now caught in limbo where I am unable to actually do anything with any kind of job. So I'm actually finding work quite hard to get at the minute. There's a YouTuber I watch called Evan Edinger, and I'll put a link to his stuff just there. He actually did a video about the fact that he's struggling to find work. Now, he is an immigrant from America, but he studied here and he's had jobs here up until now, but because of our country's laws, he's finding it very hard to find a job. So what I'm complaining about is nothing compared to the sort of thing that he's having to deal with, and so I'm not saying that, that's a problem. I'm just saying that for graduates, it can be quite tough. I know loads of graduates from my course who have gone on to find work, and that's great for them. You just need one lucky break. The problem is I haven't found one yet. But there are other people who haven't found their lucky breaks yet. So it's the difficulty of working in my industry. And I know a lot of people are probably saying, why don't you do an internship? Internships are a good way to start getting paid for stuff, and you can get job opportunities and things like that after it. And again, I agree. I think internships can be a great thing, and I've applied for several internships. However, applying for such internships and knowing several people in the internships, you learn the flaws and the problems of internships, particularly in my industry. I don't know what it is about any other industry. I don't know how that works, and I'm not going to even try. So my problem is mainly I applied for one internship, and, you know, they took my qualification forward. Oh, we look quite like you. We'd like to take you forward to the next step. So I thought, oh, great, an interview. I can do interviews. I'm good, you know, with people. They turned around and said, you need to take an online test. I was like, okay, a bit odd, but, you know, I've got 10 minutes now. Why not? Let's have a look. I was given a massive page of text, several pages of text, actually, which I had to read each page in about 20 seconds, maybe. And then from that, have it all committed to memory, and then answer a series of questions, 3 questions for each page, in 60 seconds each. Now, I'm not the best at reading. I'll be honest, I can read, obviously, I'm not illiterate, but the point is that I don't like reading, I never have. I haven't read anything like Harry Potter or Twilight, which I'm sure is going to get me a ton of hate in the comments section below. But I've just never been that into reading, so it's not like I don't like those books or that franchise, but the point is that I just don't read anything. So no one can get offended because I haven't read anyone's books or choose preference. Anyway, the point is I don't like reading, which when I enjoy writing scripts, it can be a bit of an issue. But I don't mind reading. You know, if I know I need to read, obviously I had to read for my essays at university. But the thing that I struggle with is when you've got to read. I'm not a very fast reader, and so when you've got to read a page in 20 seconds and then have it all committed to memory, that doesn't work for me. So I did get an email back saying, sorry, we aren't taking you forward after your online exam. We can't give you feedback. And so I'm like, I've now been affected by the fact that I can't read. I'm not the fastest or most competent reader. Even though as an editor and as a production worker and a camera operator, which is the kind of thing I was applying for, I am very competent at doing those sort of roles. I'm just not very good at quick reading and response answers in that scenario. Another internship that I applied for, I actually got through to the very final interview, and unfortunately I lost it, but to 2 very good friends of mine. So actually I don't mind that too much because it was 2 other people who I thought deserved the job. I actually have a lot of friends in that particular business because they take about 10 to 20 interns a year. So a lot of them applied just for different internships, so are all now working there. And from talking to them, they said had a chance to speak to some of the employees and say, well, what's the chance of me getting a job at the end of this? And the employee's response was, yeah, you've got no chance. What is the point of a blinking internship if you can't get a job at the end of it? I don't understand that. The point of an internship is to get you into the world of work, paid, and to start, you know, getting used to it. And the hope is that maybe 1 or 2 of you at least will get a job with that company. I understand that not everyone can be taken on, and I understand that, you know, it will give you a name on your CV and you can carry on and go somewhere else. I get that, but at least 1 or 2 people should have a shot at getting a job at the end of it. And then it occurred to me, these guys are working on very little money, being forced to live in London, so all of their income is going straight onto things like rent and food, because it's not cheap to live in London. And then from that, the company can therefore hire 10 to 20 interns at this half-price rate, rather than hiring a few people at a full-time rate. And so what they're looking at is they put these people into some of the lower-end positions that don't matter so much, who have got a lot of people above them that can fix and change work, and get these guys to do the grunt work for very little cost, rather than hiring someone full-time just to take care of it all, because it means they get more people. And that's a really bad work ethic. I really despise that as an option, the fact that they take these uni graduates and give them a shot at the big time, and then basically just go, yeah, thank you very much, we'll now hire 10 more new graduates because they'll be cheaper than you will be. And so that's why I don't want to be applying for internships anymore. So now I'm thinking about it, you know, I don't like internships, I'm struggling to find regular work, even as a freelancer I'm struggling to find work. So what do I do? Now, again, I said that I like writing and directing. Those are the 2 passions of mine in this industry. But the problem is, you can't just go out of uni and go, by the way, I'm the best writer and director of our year, which I wasn't by any stretch. But I can't go out into the world and just say that's what I am, because you need so much experience to get into positions like that. So the problem I'm now having is there's no real chain of command when it comes to that kind of thing. You know, as a camera, if you want to be a director of photography, who's the guy that runs the camera and lighting department, if you don't know, To get to that position, you kind of start as a runner, you'll go to an AC, you'll build your way up to a camera operator, and eventually you'll get to director of photography. There is a clear line of command. With director-writer, there isn't much. You get script assistants and you get production assistants maybe as a gap, but then to get to the roles after that, there's a massive jump, and it's one of those things where you have to have experience to get the job, but you need the job to get the experience cycles, and so it's quite hard to do. So I think, my option was to go, well, I will go out on my own then. Instead, I will decide that I am going to write a ton of scripts and I will send them off to companies to get produced. However, channels like BBC and ITV, the big sort of names, and Sky and anyone like that, the big channels, require that you have backing from a company, or maybe two at some points. And again, as a university graduate, it is very hard to get other companies to invest in you and your idea, because they've seen it all before. They've got 1,000 other graduates and other people who have been out of work for years trying to sell their scripts to them. So all this is doing is restricting us as graduates in getting into the world, and particularly us writer-director types, from expressing our creativity and getting our ideas made. It's just not happening. It's why so many YouTubers that I follow, like Tom Scar, and what was Ed's World, turned to YouTube, because it's a way of earning, it's a way of making money, it's a way of, making videos that they want to make. Tom Scar particularly, as I say, I follow all his stuff and I really admire what he does. I'll put some of the script links to his work down below. But the point is that he creates some really great sketches and action scenes and all sorts. But that's because he gets to make what he wants to make, because he decided to go out on his own. I'm in the early stages of that, and because of where I live, Tom Scar and people like that live in London, where they've got lots of people around them. I do not have that luxury. I'm currently living at home with my parents in a very rural town called Horsham. And so, the problem with that is that I just don't have anyone. There's no one really around me. There's not many people anyway that I know of at this point that are doing media and stuff like that, or people that are doing acting and things like that. So I haven't got the resources necessarily available to me yet to start making a ton of these sketches. As I say, they will be coming, and hopefully I'll be doing some low budget ones with my brother soon. But at this point, they're not happening for a little bit. I just feel restricted massively in what I can do, because I can't put my scripts forward to anyone because I haven't got any backing, and all the people that I try and get backing from don't want to hear it because they've heard it 1,000 times from a 21-year-old graduate. And university doesn't necessarily pay for that, not from my course anyway. Again, it's one of the best in the country, and I wouldn't have chosen to go anywhere else, but it hasn't quite prepared me for what I've had to deal with. So anyway, that has been my rant on finding work in the media industry. Thank you all so much for watching. I do apologise that my first vlog was a little bit ranty and a bit, negative and all that stuff. Hopefully I'll have some greater stuff to talk about, and I'd like to vlog a bit more when I've got more to talk about, but this is just something that had been on my mind today, so I thought I'd put it in a video and share it to you guys. As I say, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you saw, give this video a like, put some comments down below, and as always, I will see you next time. Keep it classy. Good day, sir.
Rhymes don't work on us. Sorry.
He's a very posh name. Rhymes don't work. Sorry, folks.